Good morning, guys. 4 times I've tried to make this video now and my internal storage keeps running out, so I've had to delete loads of things and switch it about. First of all, a massive hug, sending love to the family and friends of Martin Taylor. Rest in peace, Martin Taylor. So sad to wake up this morning to such devastating news, and another male lost to mental illness, also another person lost to mental illness. And this video was just a bit of an awareness and literally reaching out to people about mental illness. As somebody who has suffered mental illness and somebody who has been through the mental illness system within hospitals and NHS, I've been hospitalised 3 times in a psychiatric ward due to trauma and due to upbringing, due to abuse, due to violence, due to many things that I was too scared to talk about. And I just want to say to people, do not feel embarrassed of feeling upset and in pain. You need to reach out for help and not let it destroy your life. But first of all, I've got a few stats that I want to talk about in this video and reach out to a few different people about a few different things. So I've been online and I've done some research, and all this research that I've found is stuff what's been in studies and can be found on Google. So first of all, men are more likely to self-medicate with illegal drugs and die. Many people think that taking drugs or drinking alcohol will help get rid of these feelings and get rid of this hurt. But in reality, it just makes the problem a lot worse, because putting chemicals or alcohol into our body is a chemical, and it unbalances our brain, which creates chemical imbalances, which is massively associated with mental health and depression, also anxiety levels as well. I just want to also say that anything what I talk about in this video is not personally aimed towards anybody. I don't want to cause any upset. I just want to help, highlight many alarming situations in life at the moment in order to make things a little bit better for the world and for people. If we don't speak about things, things are not going to get better. And we as people our actions are what creates the next generation. So if we start working at problems bit by bit and then it spreads to masses, that's how we create more positive changes for the world. And even though some people might think, well, no one's going to listen to me, just by reaching out, you could reach out and you could affect one person positively. You could go on to the next person and affect them positively. And before you know it, it's a chain reaction and more people are helping each other. And it's a single step makes a massive journey, and it will help people. So yeah, 73% of adults go missing are men. 84 men die a week of suicide, which is very alarming. Many mental health issues are formed via lifestyle and upbringing. This is a big one. So think about if we have a parent who's an alcoholic, or a parent who's troubled and they are quite violent themselves. Us being around that makes us hate that sort of thing, and it makes us have hatred towards people who we live with when we're seeing it, and we miss out on things. Like if our parents always hanging at home and we don't get took out for the day, we're going to have a personal blame towards them. And as I did say, I'm not judging anybody who does these things, so please don't take it personally. Parents who have a troubled life and are quite violent and angry when they come home from work and smack children. So that smacking is inflicting pain upon somebody. And even though people think it's discipline, it actually causes quite a lot of problems later on in life. If you smack your child and then your child grows up to smack their child and inflicting pain and hurting a child, an innocent child, is actually, it's like abuse. As I said, please don't take this personally. When I was like as a younger parent and my daughter were not, it was normal to smack. And then I've started researching many things, and it's like, it's not normal to smack and make a child in fear of their parent. A child is born wanting to love. A child is not born wanting to fear. Do you know what I mean? And then later on in life, as we've been smacked and we think it's normal, we see things that people like we don't like about other people, and they make us angry, and then we fight, and that's more violence, and that's inflicting more pain upon people. And then later on in life, men hit women. That's creating domestic violence. Women hit men. There's a big rate in both sexes of fighting and hitting, and it all comes from, a lot of it, childhood. So yeah, and a lot of people getting beaten to death, and unless someone talks about it, it's going to keep carrying on. So yeah, anyway, hitting, it's not right, and a lot of it come from black people was beat as slaves. Black people went home to beat their grandchildren because they was angry, and they seen it as discipline. When they was bad, they got hit, and thereon it was spread and it was spread. And I spoke to one of my black family members about this, and we agree on this subject. It's not something to be embarrassed about, but a lot of, like, please don't take this personally, black families are a lot more disciplined in certain ways, and they think it's normal. It's not normal to beat your child if they're naughty, and I've seen a lot of people like, our children don't mess about or they get smacked. That's actually not a good thing, that they're so petrified of you, because you know what happens when a child's petrified in their upbringing? Later on they rebel, and then they get all those upsets out, and then they go and do things what they wouldn't normally do, and they create their own troubles, which we don't want that for our children. So yeah, that's domestic violence and beating and inflicting pain upon each other. Moving on, okay. 75% of suicides are men. Suicide is the biggest cause of death in men under the age of 35. For starters, men under the age of 35 shouldn't be even dying at that age. So to have that the biggest cause of death is suicide in that age is very, very alarming, which goes to show, like, young men, they don't want to speak up. Many of them, they're embarrassed. It's down to, like, having that, like, self-respect and, oh, I don't want no one to think I'm weak, that sort of thing. But really, when you're suffering, it's not weakness. It actually takes a lot of guts to go and get help, and it's actually strength, reaching out to want to heal yourself. I've got great respect for guys who work on healing their own personal issues and their own personal traumas, and I do have men and women come to me for help. And recently I had a man who, and he said to me, I will never ever put out personal information, by the way, with people who I help, because obviously that is data protection and I wouldn't want to do that. So this guy said to me, I don't know what it is, I'm having problems at home, and I don't personally know what the issues are making me act in certain ways. And he says, and I'm getting angry and I say the most hurtful, nasty things to the people that I love, but I don't mean it. And I explained to him about upbringing, lifestyle, how our anger outbursts, and instead of outbursting when angry, sitting and thinking about what's making you feel that way, and sitting and thinking of it in a different way. Yeah, I did get hit when I was a child, but they didn't personally do that because they hated me. That's what they was taught. Or yes, I might not agree with being upset by somebody, but I don't personally need to send them such nasty, violent words back to them to hurt them when really I love them. So I sent him onto my YouTube to listen to a number of videos, and he came back to me and he explained to me that it really did help him. So if we talk and we communicate with each other, it's helping each other bit by bit. Rome wasn't built in a day. We are community. Community, as in the word community, you and I, we should help each other to heal these problems and make the world a better place for the next generation. So 25% of men live with mental illness. This is again down to fear of judgment, because men literally take the piss out of each other. Many men think, oh no, the boys are going to laugh at me if I talk about my emotions. It takes great strength to talk about your emotions. And many of these men who have got problems with emotions fall on drugs and alcohol. There's a lot of guys who think it's normal to drink every night, cans and cans and cans. That shuts off their mind. But really, it's destroying their body and their mind, and it's creating further problems. Same as self-medicating, cocaine. Look at how many people are on cocaine, and then later on they get these big swelled bellies where there's problems inside their stomach, and then they've got problems with their heart from alcohol and drugs, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's really, really bad. So also, guys, there is support for men out there. Men might not think there is, even though I have looked into it, and there is more support for women, and I think there is more support for women because many women have got children. But I also think that this many women keeping the children is creating a big problem with men, because as a woman who is a mother as well, our children make us feel more worthy when we live with them. So it's harder for men when they only see their children every now and again. And you need to keep the strength inside you and know that people love you, even when you feel alone and you think family are pushing you out. Many times, this is the biggest thing that I said to one of my cousins recently. When I went through my personal battles, I got a grudge in myself and said, real friends would be there for me, real family would be there for me. The problem this day and age is, Many people are struggling with their own battles, so therefore they can't handle ours as well. They don't know how to handle our situations because personally as well, they're not inside our mind. So instead of expecting everybody to help us, we need to speak up and we need to go and get some professional help because family members aren't trained in this area, neither are friends. It's all right for a friend to say, listen mate, I do care, I do love you, but the thing is, you need to go and get some help. And don't be embarrassed about getting help, it's there for a reason. So also, men report significantly lower satisfaction than women in life. Men feel less satisfied in life than women do, which I also think this is down to a lot of it to do with parenting and kids, but also a lot of women, we feel satisfied in our like physical looks and bodies, and many men like look at the amount of men these days. So I looked at the amount of men who was overweight and hair loss compared to women in their 30s and 40s, and the men looked unwell compared to the women. So like the way that we physically look after ourselves, a big thing to women compared to men. But men need to learn that it's not just about how you look, and going down the pub every day and drinking pints will have effects on your body, and then we are creating our own illness, and then later on in life we sit and we're like, oh my god, what have I done? You cannot buy back your health once you have destroyed it. So having a proactive approach and caring for yourself here and now is going to stop these illnesses and therefore give you a long, happier life, as well as a stable mind, which is less mental health and anxiety. So yeah, next part of this is, I'm on making a video, okay? Sorry that was my little girl there. 95% of the prison population is men. So domestic violence, crime, all those things with men. Many problems within people and people not being taught certain things pushes people to crime. And a lot of crime is actually taught through anger and pain and getting in their mindset, I'm going to do this, I don't care what people think. And if we helped men with these problems, we wouldn't be having all these problems here. Because listen to this here. 72% of male prisoners suffer with 2 or more mental disorders. So if we get to the root of the problem and help them with their upset, we will have lower prisoners and lower mental health in men, lower death. It goes, it's a cycle, do you know what I mean? So yeah, men are 3 times more likely to become alcohol dependent. This is because I personally think women talk more openly to the girls, and girls for some reason, well yeah, we have more support, probably because we have health visitors and midwives and things who talk about these sort of problems to do with emotions and stuff, instead of just men being pushed aside. Because at the end of the day, the men's always been seen as the stronger sex. But you think about them, the man's been seen to, he goes to work, he earns the money, he supports the family. But actually, unless he's got a woman there as well who supports him in this family, he's going to work, he's carrying his emotional issues with him, and he's coming home and he's sleeping, but he's provided for his family, so he feels happy in that way. But then he's got no emotional outlet, so therefore personally he can be struggling inside. Men have measurably lower access to social support of friends, relatives and community. And yet, like I was saying again, this is because of men's pride. So coming up to the end of this video now, I work with a lot of therapies, I've tried a lot of things. Counselling has very good benefits for talking and just getting things off your chest. So you feel like you are getting a weight off your shoulders when you can talk openly about things that you think people won't understand. Even down to things of, why do I feel like I have to be like my dad? I don't want to be like my dad. I know people in fitness who are like, I have to do this to make my family happy, but actually I really hate it. This is one of these things where I'm like, I want my children to be who they are, and I don't pressurise them to, you go to school and you learn that subject because school says you have to do that. No, I want my child to be happy learning what they want to learn and then go to college and be educated, but also day-to-day life is a massive thing. So what I do is as well, Monday morning sessions, we have a family time where we speak about things that upset each other instead of just fighting and outbursting on each other. So many mental health issues are actually created in childhood. My children have seen a number of traumas, and I actually even spoke to my own dad about this, about family members who actually need therapy, and he personally were like, what do you mean? That's just lifestyle. You just get on with it. You actually don't just get on with it. Just by getting on with it, that's where you suffer alone, and then later on in life you become that nasty person who's outbursting at other people, who's always feeling the need to say something about other people's life, or starting on arguments all the time because really you're angry inside and you actually need help with yourself. But like my children, I study my children and I study my own emotions in order to be able to get help in the areas I need. Daft little things like hiding and crying, shouting, daft little things like that. Diet is a big thing for children. I'm not eating that. I don't like that. Children should be eating good, nutritious things because it's good for the mind, body, etc., etc. It's all right letting a child have a treat, but if you keep giving them bad food, which have got chemicals in, it actually is creating chemical imbalances in your body. And not only does it create things like ADHD and stuff like that, is massively related to diet, even though I'm not saying all cases are. So please don't take that I'm saying that, because many ADHD is through genes and stuff as well. But unless somebody comes along with family pain cycles, it's going to keep going. Somebody has got to stand up and say, no, I can't be having this no more. It even happens in the things of sexual abuse. You go back and you look back and it can be passed through families, that sort of thing. There's many, many subjects what add up to mental illness. So yeah, it's good to catch it young. It's good to talk to people. Do not feel embarrassed of it. Do not feel guilt if you've done things in life which you shouldn't have done. You carry guilt that will hold you in that isolation place, and you will start to disintegrate slowly by slowly and think, I shouldn't have done that. We've done many things in life, including myself, where I've upset people. What I've done is I've come forward and I've explained to people, I'm very sorry that I did certain things to you. I know that it was wrong. I was too lost when I did that, and I do mean it from the bottom of my heart. I am sorry, and I'm getting help with myself right now. And I am going to become a better person, not only for myself, but for other people. Because when we are going through these problems as well, we're not only hurting ourselves, it destroys our family to see us like this as well. Our children, our mothers, our fathers, our friends, it's so hard to see somebody going through it. So many people sent me messages when I was going through emotional stuff. I was like, I'm sure you're okay. But because they didn't understand me, I just pushed them away. And because so many people was joking about me and writing things all on Facebook, and I've actually had people come back to me now and said they didn't, but they did. And if you did say something about somebody and it's been upsetting them, why not go and say, I'm sorry, mate, I shouldn't have done that, and bang out of order and speak to the person. They'd have a lot more respect for you, because everybody needs friends, everybody needs support systems, everybody needs to just enjoy life and have fun. So instead of so many people going out and name calling and making fun of people who are going through battles, why not help them? Because you know, when it happens to you, you're going to be that person like, wow, I never expected that to happen to me. Did I expect myself to go into hospital for 3 months? No. Somebody who runs a business, did I expect to have breakdowns and have to run a business from inside hospital? No. Did I expect to have a care coordinator? No, I didn't. Well, many people don't know many things about me, but I struggled from a teenager and I had a home support worker, and I carried those burdens with me through life. From like, I didn't feel like I was good enough of the family because I was the fucked up child, and everyone used to be like, why do you always have to do that, Aisha? Why do you? Can you not understand? Actually, people didn't understand me. I was carrying a lot of pain from when I was younger, and I never told no one about it because I was embarrassed. I was sexually abused from a young age. I was hit as a child, and even though I don't blame my parents or anybody who did that, they didn't understand the aftermath of being hit. And then I went to become very violent as a teen and fight all the time, and I'm very sorry for anybody that I end up in fights with, and I'm very sorry for anybody that I did hit. And I also know that violence never solves anything. Even if you feel good after hitting somebody and you think, well, I don't care if it doesn't solve things, but it makes me feel better. If you need to make you feel better by hurting somebody else, that is an issue, and you do need help with that. But anyway, I've spoke for long enough now, guys. But I just want to say to everybody out there suffering, if you go to your doctor, don't let them put you on medication straight away. Medication is not the answer. It just numbs you. I've been on medication and it causes further problems, which has also got chemical imbalances. And although I know people sometimes need medication to stabilise themselves, please do look at therapies. Please do look at what you're eating, because it affects your mind. Please do look at what you do on a day-to-day basis. Like, go out, get some fresh air, do something positive, do something what uplifts your soul. Please do look at how you live, because if you live in a house what's a mess, you wake up every day and you're like, oh, I don't even want to be in here, then you don't feel relaxed in your own home. Please do look at your relationships. If you're in a toxic relationship, many people don't realise this, but toxic relationships don't just come in relationships with boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, but they become with family members. They become with professional people at work, where people dig at each other all the time. Toxic relationships can also lay in mother, daughter, father, son, where outbursting, shouting, swearing, like seeing things in the home, parents fighting, so many things. Workload. If work's too hard for you, you need to allow yourself days off. If work's too draining for you, you need to find a new job. Think of it as this: it's all right going to work and earning money to support your family, but if this job's making you that unhappy that you're losing yourself in the process, it's gonna create problems for your family as well. Like, work-life balance is very important, and many people lose their actual health through going to work. It's all right chasing money and thinking you're doing well in life, but losing yourself. You can't buy back your health. But anyway, guys, I hope this video was very helpful for you. I'm sending love and light to everybody across the world right now, and sorry to hear so many suicides, and to the families who are suffering. Rest in peace, Martin Taylor. Much love, everybody. Peace and love.